Welcome back to one of my favorite sports podcasts, Frizz and the Grizz, with your host Trudeau and my guy, Keith Frizzy Frizz.
Hello and welcome back to Frizz and the Grizz. Thank you for joining us live Tuesday, August 20th, or next day on podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Hook your boys up, hit those buttons, rate, subscribe, review. We are sad that the Olympics are over, but we are rejoiced that football season is finally here. Gonna be honest with you guys in the audience. Gonna be a lot of football for the next 2-3 months. Starting today, we're giving you our betting preview. I always like to look at the gambling as a way to open the door into the football season. We're going to talk about win totals, over unders, player futures, reward races, all that stuff and more. But first, D, what it do?
What it do? What it do? Happy Tuesday. You know, everything's good in the hood over here except for the internet. Did I just get kicked again?
You're here.
Am I here? Okay. My internet's all wonky right now. It's saying that I'm not here. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you guys can see me. If not, hope you guys are having a great Tuesday and a great morning tomorrow when you hear from us.
Physically, you're here. Mentally, I don't know.
This is crazy.
Well, you're here, and usually mute the internet issues, so I'm glad it's not me today. And you might be gone, but yeah, D, it's going to be a fun show. Are you excited for the gambling? Now that you have betting in North Carolina, you've gotten your feet wet, so you understand what the pluses and minuses and all those odds are.
I didn't hear a goddamn thing that you just said. It's all robotic.
Good. I'm just glad it's not me today. I'm just saying, now that you're in North Carolina, you got the gambling recently, you're familiar with the pluses and the minuses, the odds and all that good stuff.
Tough. I think I can hear you now. We're good. We're back.
I've been here all along, man.
I know. I couldn't hear you though.
I'm always here for you.
I know. I appreciate you, man. Sorry for what we're doing for you guys. My bad.
At their time, you get the gambling stuff now. You're in with it.
Yes.
Sorry to hear about the internet stuff, man. I am having a tough time because my old ass is hitting a big milestone this weekend.
What's that? You turning 40?
Hell no, dude. You think I'm that old? The fuck? 35, man. 35. And I am celebrating the only way a 35-year-old would celebrate is I'm smoking myself up a nice big old brisket.
Oh, word. Nice.
You know what I mean? Little barbecue action.
So last year you did one of these and you said that it was like marinating or like prepping for like 24 hours. You doing the same?
I haven't done a brisket until recently. The brisket is going to take about 14 hours to cook. Slow cook that sucker.
Didn't you buy the Traeger last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do all sorts of stuff. Like I did pulled pork, ribs, all that good stuff. Man, I'm big into the barbecue scene.
I like it.
I master the craft.
Okay. Big fan. No, congrats, man. Obviously 35 is a big milestone for sure. Halfway to 40, so you're almost there.
Have you picked up any old man hobbies as you get older? Because like I think smoking's kind of like like an old man, like you're starting to hit like, the middle age, you're doing that sort of stuff.
I won't say there's like more of an I don't think that there's a specific thing that I've done more, but I know that I enjoy things more, such as grilling. Like I used to be just a flat iron on the top of the stove or range, whatever it is. I just cook it quick, cook your food, you're fine. And then like the older I get, the more I'm just like, no, I enjoy throwing that grill cover off, hang that sucker up, put on all the burners, throw a steak on the sear, and then flip it over to the regular, burners. So it's like, I think I appreciate that a little bit more that I'm older versus just like the cook quick. I mean, and just like get back to it type thing. That's about it.
I got to get you in that smoking game. I feel like you would like it. It's a test of patience.
So it's not so much, and this is where I probably would do a little bit more, but like I have a problem with like taking too long to purchase something and then having like buyer's remorse from it. Meaning I want a flat iron, like an outside, like Blackstone. Yeah, like those things look dope. But in my mind, I'm like, I just bought this grill. Like there's no need for me to buy another grill while I have a gas grill. So for me to get a smoker, I understand they cook differently, but it just won't compute for me to be like, get another piece of equipment to cook outside. But I'm like, I have a grill. I don't need another one.
I like that approach though, because I'm not an impulse buyer by any means, but it will nag at me for like months at a time. Like I'm just gonna get it because like I've thought about it this long and like I'm confident in it.
Yes.
Hey man, you ready to talk some football?
Let's get it.
All right, we're going to open up our football conversation, talk about some win totals. So basically it's projected win numbers. They give you a number that's an odd number. So like 4.5 wins, 11.5 wins. And if you're a better, You're going to pick over under that many wins. There's a couple interesting ones we circled to start with. We're going to do the Patriots. That'll be maybe our second one or something. You want to open the Patriots or no?
Because we can do Patriots. Sure, why not?
We'll open with the Patriots because I'm sure there's a lot of New England fans here. The New England Patriots, their opening line is 4.5. You're getting minus the 135 to take the over, so that means more money's coming in on the over 4.5 wins, plus 110 on the under. I don't really know their situation depth chart fully, but to me, this seems like you can look at the schedule. It seems like an over for me. I know last year they were abysmal. There was a lot of issues with quarterback. Coach was checked out, and Bill Belichick. And one thing that low key really destroyed the Patriots last year was, man, they had a ton of injuries on defense. They're getting their guys back healthy. Granted, they just lost Matthew Judon.
Judon's gone.
Yeah, via trade. But I think they're going to be a better team overall this year. I think they can hit 5 wins. I don't know what their ceiling is, but you would think they would bounce back from last year and get at least 5 wins.
So last year I started, I think, our season off by saying that the Patriots were going. Yeah, I was like, slam the under, and people ragged on me for it. And I was like, it ain't so much about just like the roster or like the team makeup. Like, you still had Belichick. Like, it wasn't that. I was like, your schedule is brutal. Like, there was a point in time I was like, they could lose 7 straight games, and I think they did. And I was like, it's not about the team, it's about who you're going up against. So when I look at their schedule this year, definitely a little bit lighter, but like you said, it's 4.5.
Yeah, can they get 5 wins?
I think they can, just because it's 4.5. If you'd have said 5.5, then I'd be like, 6 wins is not going to be easy. But you look at their schedule and it's like Seahawks.
You might get one there.
Exactly. Like, it's home against the Seahawks. So like, I'm not
there.
Yeah, you can. I don't think they beat the Bengals as the opener, but like, here's where it gets tougher. Rodgers is back. I don't think you beat the Jets when his first game back. I think maybe later in the season you can upset them, but Jets, Niners, Dolphins, Texans, and then maybe you get the win against the Jags. So like, right away you got 4 losses that like you drop 4 in a row. Like, that's a momentum changer, right? Like, you go a whole month without winning, like that can just start to get people pissed off. And like, and then you rip it back again. But they do have the chance with like the Titans, Bears, and then I think they can steal one game in their division. So like, just by mathematic wise, I would take the over, because I don't. This schedule isn't as tough as last year's, where like the middle of the season they were playing the Eagles, the Cowboys, they played the Chiefs, like just all these teams. I'm like, they're not getting out of these games unscathed.
Yeah, and with the Patriots too, I think you're going to get competent quarterback playing Jacoby Brissett. I don't think he's going to start all season. If things start to go sideways, what do you?
Go ahead. I got something to say about that.
If things start to go sideways with the Patriots, at least this year, like they get 8 games in and they're looking at 2-6 or something, and it's just not looking good, you can get that boost of energy by inserting Drake May. So it's not going to be a situation where you go through the whole season as the Patriots and there's no hope after you fall into the hole with Mac Jones. You know, the one last thing for you to get in on Jacoby Brissett thing is, one thing that's really going to be a pain in the ass for the Patriots this year is they got the unfortunate luck of being one of those teams to get the Week 14 bye, which it's brutal for an NFL
team. Very
team.
Long time.
Yeah, so you're playing 13 games straight without a break. So you would like to see, if you're the Patriots, to have 7, 8, 9, so you can split that season up. But it's going to be a tough haul to get to that bye week. I don't know. Did you have something on the quarterback situation?
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not ready to just apologize for all of the trash talk with Mac Jones, but like, Mac has looked okay in Jacksonville, and it just goes to show that like, coaching can ruin you. Like, I'm not saying that he's out of the seeing ghosts type of thing that like, we all joked about, because like the Patriots used to make fun of quarterbacks for that, but he looks decent. Like, he looks like a good backup, and it's just so far removed from where we were last year talking about him, where we're like, he'd be lucky if he's in the NFL. So like, maybe like you're saying, the Patriots get better quarterback play, but like, I just don't expect like the roof, from falling down when it comes to Jacoby Brissett being the starter there. Like, at some point you got to throw Drake May out there just to see what you have.
So we're both on the opinion, take the over. We're not split here.
Yeah,
over
going that.
4.5, and I think the money is kind of hinting at that as well. I mean, it's hard to only win 4 games in the NFL, especially what they win 4 games last year.
I think they were for yes, yes.
It's hard to do that twice in a row. All right, let's pick a team in the opposite end of the spectrum. I think we're both feeling the same way on this one as well. The next over under we're going to look at is the 49ers.
Mm.
Interesting team that just went to the Super Bowl, just came up short against Mahomes. I think they had 13 wins last year? 12
13 and 3.
13-3 last year. So their over under is at 11.5. It's projected 2 wins less than the previous year. If you look at the betting on this thing,
12 and 5. Sorry, we were way off.
okay, so they pretty much just got over this win total last year, and this makes me make my decision a lot easier. So right now, the money's coming in on the under, minus 125 on the under, plus 103 on the over. So basically, it's showing you that more money's coming in on the under here. I agree with the money on this one, under 11.5 wins, and here's why. We just talked about last year at the 49ers. They had 12 wins, and say what you want. I mean, they had a stretch where they lost, 2 or 3 in a row where they looked real shaky after Trent Williams went down. That 49ers team was probably the healthiest it's been in a very long time. You had McCaffrey play every game, which is super rare for him. I think Debo missed only a handful of games, and he's always good for a chunk of games. And Kittle was very healthy, so all of your offensive guys were healthy. And on top of that, it looks like Brandon Ayuk's no longer going to be a 49er. So you're losing one of your best playmakers on offense. Defense is getting older, and then you have to imagine that they're going to have less health luck this year.
Yeah, just based off of not only just like the addition by subtraction that you were talking about, but I think they take a step backwards this year because they haven't completed their goal of being a dominant Super Bowl contender yet. Every year they are a contender. Like every year they're a team that you have to think about, a team that you have to worry about. But at some point the wheels are going to fall off, and I think this might be that year. I don't wish injury on anyone, but like McCaffrey being the bell cow, at some point he might get dinged up, right? It's just bound to happen to running backs that get that much volume. And then we know about the contract situation with Brandon. And like at some point, is Brock Purdy going to be that guy, or like does the league figure him out? Like, not saying that he's not figured out, but like, is he somebody that ends up not being a top tier quarterback? There's just so many more question marks that go into the season with the 49ers than answers, especially after the way that they got bounced out of, essentially last year's playoff contention.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty safe bet to take the under. I mean, the one thing with the 49ers is I wouldn't be surprised if they did hit the over. We're talking about a division where 49ers, Cardinals aren't expected to be a great team. I know the Rams were really good last year, but I don't trust Stafford that much as far as staying healthy. And then who am I missing? The Seahawks. So all in all, weaker conference, not the strongest division. They're going to rack up wins. I just think you're going to need everything to go right for them to hit 12 wins. And I'm going to bet on the side of history with their health luck.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm definitely taking the under on the 49ers.
Here's one that I don't know where I want to go with. And I think this line has been inflated in part because they've been featured a lot on television recently. And by television, I mean the HBO show Hard Knocks. The Chicago Bears. What was the record last year? Can you remind me? You can look it up for me. It wasn't great. They had they got Roma Dunze with the 8th overall pick, so they're either the 8th or 9th worst record in the league. Their projected over under right now is 9.5. So I know they're projected to take a leap forward. Obviously, adding Caleb Williams. So basically, if you're taking the over right now with the Bears, you're getting plus 120, which is a pretty large spread. And then the under is minus 150. So a lot of money is coming on the under. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of days that win total drops to 8.5, where the money's coming so hard on that under. But it seems hard to take 10 wins with the Bears. I don't think it's impossible, considering what they've done offensively as far as adding wide receivers and whatnot. But 10 wins is a tough proposition for this team, and I think I may have lost you, D.
Hey man, I am so sorry. I don't know if there's a storm going here, but like I haven't had a issue with internet all day, but like it's like bugging out. Not just this, it's bugging out everything in my house right now.
It's all right. Are you buying the hype train with the Bears and taking 10 wins, or are you going to go with the public on under?
You know, when we first started, when we were in the pre-show, I was very hyped with the saying 10, and then I'm like, the more that I think about it, I'm like, that just might be a little bit of a reach. I think that would be more of a surprise than like a confident bet when it comes to that team. So like I'd say they reach 9, but I wouldn't. I'd take the under at 9.5. I wouldn't take the over at 10 wins. I just don't. Could they get there? Yeah, but money wise, I'd be like, no. I think I'd feel more safe with them not getting to 10 wins this season.
Yeah, I would say it's also going to be tough sailing that division. I know everyone's on the Bears, especially what they've done offensively to add the pieces around Caleb Williams, but you still have to go play the Lions twice.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play the Packers twice, which is another up and coming team. You know, the Vikings, I don't know what to expect of the Vikings this year, now losing JJ McCarthy, but they're going to give you a run for your money, at least because they do have skill positions in that offense, and they still have a couple good defensive linemen. So it's going to be tough sledding, man. 10 wins is tough. I don't know what their full schedule is like with the Bears right now. I might consider biting on this bet if the win total does drop down to 8.5, because I do think 9's a good number for them. But just getting the 10 wins with the Bears is tough. And honestly, if you're a Bears fan, just being in the hunt, getting to 9 wins is a huge step forward, especially with Caleb Williams in his first year.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now, and outside of their division, they play NFC West and AFC North teams. No, yeah, North teams. So like that's tough right there because I'm seeing Seahawks, 49ers, and I want to say outside in Rams. Those are 3 tough teams that like not just gonna say that like they might not be at their peak when they play them, but those are 3 tough opponents that like they can eke out maybe 1 or 3 of those. Do I see Caleb Williams strolling into San Francisco at Candlestick and getting a dub? I don't. You know what I mean? So like it's not just the division games that they got to worry about. Their non-division schedules is pretty rough too, just by the luck of the draw. The getting the Texans, getting the let me see here. Yeah, getting the Texans, getting the Niners, and the Seahawks. Like these are 3 teams that are not going to be easy. The Colts coming back with Anthony Richardson. Those are teams that are not going to be easy to just beat. So 9.5 or below, I'd say I'd stick with that one.
Yeah, it's been. Have you watched any of the Hard Knocks, by the way?
No, people keep asking me, and I keep not watching it because I heard it was good.
It's I mean, they're all pretty much the same thing, just repeated, but I've enjoyed this one. Caleb's a different type of dude. He's not like rah yelling in your face type of guy, but seems like he's got it all put together mentally. All right, I got one that I think for the most part, you and me have both agreed as far as going with the public. And what I mean by that is, you get the minus, the plus odds. We've all agreed with the public money, it's coming on one side and we're agreeing like, yeah, that makes sense to us. I think this team, we actually are disagreeing with the public money. Cincinnati Bengals, their over-under is 10.5 right now. It looks like the money's coming in on the over at minus 125 with the Bengals. So people are taking 11 or more wins with the Bengals, plus 100 on the under. I'm on team under for the Bengals. Here's why. They just gave out some contracts. They're a little tight on money. Joe Burrow just got signed. They're trying to actively negotiate with Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is on a 1-year deal right now, essentially with the franchise tag. They've lost players in defense. And 2 things. I lost train of thought. I'm sorry. 2 things. Number 1, we've seen with Joe Burrow, there's a constant health concern with him year after year. It's not always the same thing, but he's always dealing with some sort of nick and injury. The bigger thing for me is Jamar Chase. Now, he is a hold in right now, meaning he's showing up to camp so he's not getting fined, but he's not participating in any practices. And at this point, we're 2 weeks out from the start of the season, more or less.
Yep.
He has not practiced once with the team. I understand he wants to get his money, he get his bread. He wants probably like a Justin Jefferson size contract. There's a real possibility that we're looking at week 1 without Jamar Chase, potentially week 2. I don't know what it's going to look like because they're going to want to ramp him up. Getting to 11 wins in this division is going to require you to compete week in and week out. We're talking the Browns, we're talking the Ravens, we're talking the Steelers. Laugh at all you want at the Browns and the Steelers, but those are some tough outs, man. Those are 2 tough defenses that are going to give you a fight for your life every week. I think 11 wins is a hard ask for this team, and getting plus money at 11 wins, like taking the under on this, I'm surprised.
And this is the one where they say don't bet with your heart, bet with your brain. And heart wise, I see these guys being at that 12-5, 12-4 area. I think that it would be 12-5, right? 17 games, 18 games. Yeah, I see that 12-5 area because I know how hot this Bengals team can get. We saw it when they went on their Super Bowl run. Their non-division schedule is kind of weak. Again, we talked about them playing the Patriots just the start of the year. I know they got the Bengals right off of, the Chiefs right after that, but then they followed up with the Commanders and then the Panthers. You could rip 3 wins out of 4 weeks just like that. And you got the Giants, Raiders, Chargers, a bunch of teams that like I don't see them losing to. You can rip off 11 wins really quickly and lose to those, split with your division teams and lose to Kansas City and still get you 12 wins. So like it's more of the weakness of their non-division opponents that they have coming up. Even if you split, they end the season with the Broncos and the Steelers. So it's like you can get there just based off of schedule, which means I would take more of the 11 or more wins with them just because of their off seasons, their off division schedule.
So you're not even taking the 10 the over 10.5. You're taking over 11.5.
No. I'm saying over 11 or more. I'm saying at 10.5, I would take the over.
Yeah, I just think some of those teams are tricky. I think one thing that we've just overlooked with the Bengals is they have been bleeding defensive players or since that Super Bowl run. So I'm not buying.
What's the whole situation with T. Higgins?
I think he's playing. I haven't heard much. They gave him what? They gave him the
franchise, but he didn't sign it.
Yeah, I don't know. The vibes just aren't good there right now in Cincinnati. I don't know. That's not a good analysis, but vibes are not great.
Yeah, but I do believe in QB1. That's at the end of the day, your team is as good as your quarterback, and he's one of them ones. So like that's why I would trust Joey Burrow, no matter who's lining up at wide receiver or running back with them.
I think they're good for 10 wins. I think 11 is going to be tough. All right, here's a phone for you. I think my kid's up screaming next door. I'd love to hear that. I want data. I'm like, oh, data's busy. This one's for you. We didn't talk about this one pre-show. New Orleans Saints over under 7.5 wins. I will tell you right now, more money's coming in on the over, -120. Under is +100. I don't know, man. I don't have a strong opinion here. The Saints were a dumpster fire last year. Have they improved their offensive line at all?
Yes, they drafted a left guard, I believe, at the beginning of the season.
That was a huge problem for the last year, so they did address it a little bit. But Derek Carr, the defense was old, still is old.
Tackle. They drafted a tackle.
The only thing that would give me optimism is you could say they're in the NFC South and there's a potential to win games. But again, I think all the teams in NFC South outside of the Panthers are thinking that right now.
Very true. And I think because of that, well, there's 2 wins against Carolina, right? Like I just have to believe that they don't split with the Panthers this year.
Speaking on that, just real quick, I didn't want to get started. Are you taking the Panthers under? It was like a ridiculously low number, but it might not be low enough. The Panthers were listed, I think, like 4.5. Are you taking the under on the Panthers 4.5?
Yes. I don't think they reach 5 wins again this year. They only won 3 last year, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it was bad. Or 2. I don't remember exact number.
It was a rough season for the Panthers. And the tickets still ain't cheap out here, which sucks. But I would just say just a quarter of what this win total is going to come from the Panthers. And if you just split with the rest.
The Panthers are over-unders 5.5.
Okay, so yeah, I would
run to the bank now.
Rush the under on that one. Like let me put my bread on it now. So I would look at it as you get a quarter of the wins by facing Carolina. If you split your division, well, then there's 3 more wins right there.
See 3 more elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think they can find that, off division schedule you got. They play that doesn't make it any easier, but they do play the Chiefs this year. Outside of the division, they have the Giants, the Commanders, the Raiders. So it looks like the Eagles. So the NFC East looks like those teams. I think you can squeeze out 3 wins. I don't think they're a 9-win team, 10-win team. I think there's projections saying that they're going to draft in the top 10 this year, but 7 or less, I don't think they lose 10 games. I think they can squeeze to that 9 and 8 type area.
I feel you. It's gonna be hard, man, winning that division with the Falcons now, new and improved. In the same division,
Falcons got a problem themselves. They got they signed fucking Cousins to then draft Penix. Like they already got an internal issue. A lot of people are not happy about that whole situation.
I'm just saying the whole situation in Atlanta is much better than it was last year. They got a new coach, new guy calling the offense, and actually a competent quarterback for once. They should be cooking. We'll see. They should be cooking. All right, last one.
Yeah.
Since I threw phone one at you, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the same win total, 7.5. A lot of money's coming on the over. It's minus 150. I don't know if I can take the over on the Bucks.
What? Another year of Baker. They're and you can see it right there. Yeah. Being a Saints fan, right underneath my armpit, right there. It's hard to do this with the camera reverse.
I think it's hard.
I'm still going to say the Bucks win the division.
We have very different approaches in fandom. You and I. Like I always, maybe it's because I'm a Magic fan and I've been watching them for so long. I just always anticipate the floor falling out from underneath me. Baker had a good year last year. The Bucks were competitive because of how surprisingly good Baker Mayfield was. I am a little concerned. He's always been kind of hit or miss, Baker. He's been up and down his career. They did lose, I think it was Canales. He was the OC, went to the Carolina as the head coach. I'm just very worried that whatever they had set up for him to provide success from last year will not carry over into this upcoming year, and he will revert back to being more of a turnover machine. So we'll see. I think 8's reasonable, but for some reason, if I had to put money on it, I would be more tempted to play the plus 120 on the under than the minus 150 on the over. Right? So I would rather, put a little bit less money to take the under and get more juice. All right. That was our win totals. Was there any other win totals that you wanted to touch on?
No, we're good with those. I think. We're not going to bet favorites. We already know about KC, Philly, those top tier teams. Dallas is usually a regular season team that gets a lot of wins. Buffalo at 9.5 with Rodgers back.
I'm out on the Jets. By the way, I would take the under 9.5 for the Jets.
You don't think that they're going to do 9.5 wins this year? Really? I mean, we'll go over my breakout players later, but I think
we'll talk after.
Yeah, agree to disagree. Yeah. I think the Bills take that division, but I don't know if putting bread on, minus 145 on 9.5 wins. It's a lot of weight. You're not really winning. Not too much value on that one. So I think they take the division easily. Obviously,
that should be the funnest division in football, AFC East.
It will be because you got 3 teams that could potentially win it.
Yeah, outside of the Patriots, that's going to be a really, really fun.
So the difference between the NFC North, where there's 3 dominant teams or 3 really good teams that could win it, that being the Packers, the Lions, and the Bears. I don't think the Bears could win it, but they'll compete because they're a really good team. The AFC East, They're just like a hodgepodge of like, well, hey, maybe like we're good, but we're not good. We're supposed to be good, but we all are kind of trash. But like it just looks like we're good. So like that's why it's going to be a fun division because it could go between three teams, but because nobody wants to take advantage of Tom Brady no longer being in that division.
Isn't that wild how the AFC East went from being the Patriots and everyone else was trash, so the Patriots just run through it, to now the Patriots are trash and everyone else is good.
Yeah, all it takes is one. All it takes is one player.
All right, let's get to the most popular segment on our show.
Prepare yourselves for the greatest and most unique segment in podcast history. Let's rank some stuff with D. It's time for Frizz's 5.
Woo! Back at it like we never left, or maybe even that we stole something.
I love that, man. You bring in the energy. I think you owe me energy for dipping out 4 times with your internet.
You have no idea how frustrating it is to like just watch and be like, what is going on? Like I never have internet issues. This is pissing me off.
You know how happy I am that you're having internet issues right now? Because you always gave me shit about my computer not working and getting it.
It has nothing to do with my computer.
I don't saying, how the turntables, man, how the turntables.
How the turntables. But we back up in this. We're going to bring it back. I think the last couple of weeks we've been doing a Grizz's 5. We had our song competition, so there really wasn't a Frizz's 5, but we're back at it. And for today, I think one of the funner ones to go over is going to be breakout players this year for the NFL.
So describe breakout players. How are you doing this?
So it's not somebody that's established, obviously. It's who I think is going to make that jump to being either the best at their position or breaking through with bringing their team to an area that they haven't been before. So like obviously heavily offensive sided, right? Like there's not too many breakout players that you get for for defense. There's some great corners out there. There's some great linebackers, some great linemen. But essentially those guys that get you over the hill are usually on the offensive side, whether it be wide receiver, running back, or quarterback.
Got you. Can you give me an example of like someone who you'd say was a breakout player last year?
Last year, well, I don't want to
get out too much of the.
Yeah. So I can give it an explanation for each and every one of them as we rip through these. And if you have any of them, please let me know.
Okay. I didn't write a list, but I will give you critiques, of course.
Cool. So first one, number 5, great wide receiver. I think this is the year that this team comes together and pulls it through. They are one of my. Got to get to week 1, but one of my favorites for contenders of the Super Bowl, and I'm going with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Would you call him a breakout? I feel like he's already made it.
The reason why I say that is because 1,500 yards receiving last year, I think you're going to see him potentially establish himself as being the best, or at least the second best wide receiver this year. A lot of things happen with players such as injuries. They miss time. He's out there. Even when he was injured last year, he continued playing. 1,500 yards isn't something to sleep over, obviously. Jared Goff, I think, is going to be another top 5 quarterback this year. Yes, I said it. I think he's a top 5 quarterback. Maybe not talent-wise. Yeah, not talent-wise with strength of the arm and being able to throw the long ball. No, I'm saying when it comes to putting everything together as a quarterback, I think he's a top 5 quarterback. And I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to help get this team over the hump when it comes to crunch time in the playoffs.
Big Lions fan over here.
I think this is their year. I'm not going to say that they're the Super Bowl, champs, but I think this is their year to make a run.
I think they have the 4th highest odds winning the Super Bowl right now. So people are all about the Lions. All right, what's your number 4?
Number 4, and this is where I was kind of giving a little pushback when you were talking about the Jets. Obviously, we know what A-Rod is going to do because he's A-Rod. As long as he can stay healthy and not tear his ACL or Achilles on the second play of the season. But I'm going with Garrett Wilson.
Wow, another really good player.
You say that, but Garrett Wilson is a name, but he hasn't made the jump, such as like a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase, a CeeDee Lamb. He's at that tier. This is, again, breakout. Not like you're the best player at your position. These are guys that are 5th, 6th, 7th at theirs, they're not Tyreek Hill. I think these are the guys that, or this player, Garrett Wilson, now that he has a competent quarterback that can actually, I don't know, get him the ball, you're going to see him make that jump to not being the 6th, 7th, or 8th best wide receiver out there. He could finish the season if Aaron Rodgers treats him like Devontae Adams. He could finish this year as the best, this wide receiver one in fantasy football.
I'm trying to do my list. I'm getting some deep digs. I got you with like the deep cuts. Your
Okay.
OLIs.
I'm what? OLI?
Oh, outside looking ins.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
We've got so far 2 wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's switch up. You got a different position under.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the reason why I led with that. So number 3, coming back off of a big injury, and something that I think is scary is this dude is 6'5", 250 pounds. I think we're going to see the best of Anthony Richardson this year.
I like that one.
So him going down, and we said it on our show, I was like, he's got to stop taking hits. He's got to find a way to not, use his big burly body and just like avoid contact, but like make sure that you're still trying to get first downs, right? Like that's what makes him special. But I think you're going to see with Pittman being the receiver that he was last year, Jonathan Taylor coming back healthy, an offensive line that we know led by Quentin Nelson is dominant. You might see the best of that read option RPO offense coming out of Indianapolis this year.
Yeah, man, he was awesome before that injury. The only thing that sucks is it was such a small sample size. Was a week 3 or week 4?
It's very early.
So I mean, from what we've seen in 3 weeks, he was great.
He played 4 games. It got hurt in the 4th.
Okay. With rookies, it's like they have highs and lows. So maybe we only saw the highs and didn't see the lows. But with Richardson, he did need time to develop. He was super raw coming out of college. So I think it's a good pick. I think people are really high on Richardson, especially fantasy-wise. So, yeah, I like your number 3. So we got 2 wide receivers and 1 quarterback as your breakout. So number 2 breakout.
Number 2, and I went back and forth, flip-flop with these guys, but the reason why I'm going with this guy being number 2 is I think he has the ability to lead this team to not only just the division, but potentially to a conference championship. And I'm going with Jordan Love. This is the maker. Oh, go ahead. Make your comment.
I mean, I think it's a predictable pick, right? Because he was trending up into the playoffs. Midseason, he was kind of meh. Gets to the playoffs, looks amazing, gets the big deal. So I think it's a predictable pick for being like a breakout. I think he had his breakout moment, but like you would have to have him become like upper echelon, like top 3 quarterback to really break out at this point.
The reason why I say that is because yes, he struggled at the beginning of the season, and he had a really good epic end to the season when they ripped off 3 in a row, obviously. And I think he was averaging just under 300 yards passing and no turnovers in the last 4 games. So like and that comes with obviously the blitzing that they did in Dallas. Stats don't really count for the playoffs for that, but he dominated the Dallas Cowboys. Although any team in the playoffs can technically dominate the Dallas Cowboys, the reason why I would put Jordan Love number 2 is he's got the tools to be a top 5 quarterback. He's tall. He can throw the long ball. He can put the ball wherever he needs to, and he's a seasoned player that hasn't really made that next jump because last year was his first, and we saw how bad it looked. The first 8 games of the year, very, very bad, where people were questioning if he was the quarterback. The tail end of the season is where we go, oh my goodness, if he hits that potential that we think he could hit, yeah, this could be the coming of whatever people use with that phrase. This could be the becoming of Jordan Love this season.
So I'm excited. So we're about to get to your number 1 predicted breakout player for 2024-25 season. All right, let's hit your drum roll.
Get the drum roll. You may not know the song, but I'm not the one to fuck it up. I'm just the one to make the rules. Every time he gets to the end zone, he's going to make sure he gets his dance on. He's got a new wide receiver, a new toy in Stephon Diggs. He's got another running back in the backfield when it comes to Joe Mixon from Cincinnati. I don't care if you're shaking your head. It's not just a breakout with CJ Stroud being, yes, he's going to be a top
rookie of the year.
What I'm saying, this breakout for me is I think he has the ability to win the most valuable player of the year award.
Okay. Let me give you your
We don't have to agree on it. And again, remember, this is my top 5. This ain't your top 5. You might say CJ is here, okay? We all know it as, I would say, the sophomore slump. Year 2 is when you see a regression. The reason why I think this is going to be a breakout season, not just like a controlled season for CJ, which is what he was, did a really good job controlling the ball, not turning it over. We saw Patrick Mahomes elevate himself in year 2 and throw 50 touchdowns. I'm not going to say he's going to throw 50, but he's going to come damn close to get into that 45, I would say, area with how dominant this offense is. And he could potentially win MVP in my eyes.
I'd be pretty. If he gets MVP, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt on breakout. I have some
can't hear
breakouts.
shit you're saying.
I have some breakouts for you. Ready? In the vein of you, so I got some breakouts. I have a guy named Patrick Mahomes, a guy named Josh Allen, Tom Brady. Those are all my breakout players for this year. And you've lost into it again. I'll give you some of my breakouts, D, while you try to fix your internet. And I'm picking deeper cuts here versus what you went with. So I'm picking players on teams. You got kicked again. I'm picking players on teams that I think are going to excel and really jump from being pretty much unknown to having a name in the NFL. And D, I'm just rambling on, so just keep listening in. I think with the addition of Kirk Cousins and with Michael Penix, some of these names that have been thrown to the side in Atlanta are going to have breakouts and become more of household commodities. 2 of them, Bijan Robinson, obviously is the no-brainer, right? Because he was so highly touted out of Texas. He's going to have huge increases in use this year, and especially getting rid of the coach who just didn't like him to give him volume. But another name that I think is an excellent wide receiver who's been pretty much nameless for the past 2 years, Drake London. I think he's due for a breakout year. Finish maybe top 15 receiving yards, top 10 maybe, and he'll be a guy that every year from now on in fantasy is going to be like a top, first, second round pick because he's going to be put on the map. I think Bijan and Drake London are 2 obvious breakouts for me. Yeah.
I would agree with those. Hopefully you can hear me. I didn't hear anything that you said after I talked about CJ, so I apologize. It even kicked me. But I would agree with you with Bijan. I think he has the ability to turn into the Saquon, Jonathan Taylor type running back this year if things pan out the right way. That could be his ceiling. And with Drake London, you could see him break through, I believe, the same way that CeeDee Lamb did, where he became a volume receiver and have the longevity of a career like Mike Evans.
A deep cut. Here's a deep cut for you for a breakout. A guy who had a moment maybe 4 years ago where he had some buzz. People were excited about this wide receiver, and I think his career is going to get rejuvenated now a little bit more, and he's going to maybe ascend. I don't know if he'll get to the top 10 receiver status. I really think Terry McLaurin out of Washington. No.
Out!
You're out on Terry McLaurin.
Finish. I'll say after.
If I'm just trying to take a deep cut and look for someone who could have a breakout season, with the addition of Jaden Daniels, I think it's going to really improve his ability to do what he does best and go deep. But you're out on that one.
I want to believe in Terry McLaurin, and I know that for the past 4 years he's had shitty quarterbacks. So I'm not blaming him for that. It's just when at some point it can't be just your quarterback that's holding you back, because we've seen Andre Johnson. I know that's a Hall of Famer, but like I'm saying, we've seen Andre Johnson play for 30 quarterbacks, and he was dominant no matter who was under center. And I don't want to put Terry McLaurin against a Hall of Fame wide receiver, but I'm saying if you're that guy, then it shouldn't matter who's throwing the passes back there. You should find ways to separate yourself to get open. You should find ways to make catches downfield. And there are games where he just goes like goose egg. He goes so hidden, like you forget that he's on the field. So I believe that JD is going to give him the ball. I believe he's going to be a better wide receiver because Jaden Daniels can throw. But I'm out on breakthrough with Terry. I think we've seen exactly what his ceiling is because he just doesn't call for the ball. Like, he's fine with being 5 catches, 30 yards. He's okay with that. And sometimes I need my prima donna wide receivers to be prima donnas. Throw me the ball even if I'm triple covered, and I will go get it.
I'm sorry, Terry McLaurin's not Andre Johnson.
No, and I love Terry. Like, I've.
It doesn't sound like you do.
You want to know why? It's because I've drafted him every single year that he's been in the league. This is probably the problem, but I've drafted him every year in fantasy. Like, no, I believe in Terry McLaurin. He's that guy. Just find a way to get him the ball. And then Curtis Samuel will outdo him. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you're on the field. Sorry.
Let's put away our.
That's how much invested I am with Terry McLaurin. Like, I love him as a wide receiver, but like, come on.
I don't want to discuss the last one, but just like throwing out there, can I have like not a breakout, but a break back in player?
Brokeback Mountain. Go ahead.
Kyler Murray, just like a break back into the scene.
Thought about that because I think if he's healthy and like, I don't know, just keeps his mind in the books, Dooney, like I think the Cardinals.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think he's got a tool. He's got a Ferrari out there. So I think I would agree with you on that one. Not a breakout, but like maybe comeback player of the year. I can see him. I can see him in that.
What a segue. Let's go to the next segment. D, you mentioned comeback player of the year. I have a segment we're going to do right now called Bet It or Forget It, where I throw at you some random NFL bets for the 2024-25 season. I picked bets that were between like minus 180 and plus 150. So things that are kind of like more or less even odds, plus or minus. The first one I wrote down actually was Bet It or Forget It. It was for comeback player of the year. Right now, the front runner for comeback player of the year, Aaron Rodgers at plus 140. D. Would you bet that or forget that?
I don't know how the betting. No, I won't say betting. There's no qualifiers for that award, and that's what scares me because we were talking about Damar Hamlin being a top tier better or bet getter for this award last year, and he played 2 games. It was just because he was coming back from dying. So like, there's no metric to go off of for that award. I would say I'd stay away from it for Aaron Rodgers because they might put him somewhere else.
Yeah, next time just give me a bet it or forget it, and I'll sounder. But it's okay.
Oh, my bad. Just say that. Damn.
No, but you can obviously. I want to give you get your point off, and then I would press the button. I think I would also forget it. I'm just not big on Aaron. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just a hater. I'm just not big on Aaron Rodgers and
just over it. Yeah, just anything involving him.
People forget like he had the 2 MVP seasons with the Packers, but before that he was really bad. The 2 seasons before that, he was pretty much what they thought he was washed, and they got Jordan Love, and he had 2 MVP seasons after that. Gets hurt the year prior to leaving Green Bay. Gets hurt again with the Jets. It's been 2 years since he's been an MVP. He's pushing up there in age. He doesn't seem mentally committed to football. I just don't see what the hype is. And comeback player of the year, like you have to be pretty damn good or pretty impressive or have some type of crazy story to go with it. So I don't know. I like the idea of Kyler for comeback player of the year if he comes back and comes strong.
Yeah, and I had looked at this too. Again, very strange that they have bet. I'm gonna lose so much money. Like I lost a lot of money just from basketball in college basketball, and I'm not even as nearly invested in basketball as I am with football. Like, so like I was looking at this, I was like, oh, well, I see that Aaron Rodgers is there, I see that Joey Burrow is there, and then I saw Kyler Murray, and I was like, I really, really like that one because he's coming back from injury. I think he, like we were just talking about, he's got Marvin Harrison Jr. as his wide receiver. He's got the tools to throw for 3,500, rush for 800. 30 touchdown passes and 5 rushing touchdowns. And that could be enough to be like, because the other person, Joe Burrow, could be in the MVP talk. So like just process of elimination, people might get annoyed with Aaron. People might put Burrow in MVP and not in the comeback player talk. So then that leaves you with what? CJ Stroud? No, not CJ Stroud. Sorry, he won't be comeback. That leaves you with people that you don't expect to win that award. So I would put some bread on Kyler.
To give you a little tip to help your money go longer with the NFL season, play some win totals. Just because like you have all year. Like if you bet a $5 bet on an over, like that's $5 that you'll entertained all year.
Also true. Also true.
All right, so we're both on forget it for Aaron Rodgers. Here's a good one. Here's a juicy one. NFC East winner. Right now, you can get the Eagles at -120 to win the NFC East. They're the favorite to win the NFC East right now. Are you betting that, taking the Eagles and betting that, or forgetting that?
Bet that.
Why?
I think the Cowboys are going to take a step back. I think we might have seen the best of Dallas last year, and the wheels are about to fall off. With Jerry making the comments that he's made, a disgruntled CeeDee Lamb, obviously, Dak is going to get his numbers, but when it comes to wins, I think the addition of Saquon Barkley to Philly is huge. Especially with the way that they've been able to handle the offensive line and run game. It's going to help Jalen Hurts. There's no issues with A.J. Brown, obviously, and hopefully Devontae Smith can be a really, really good, solid number 2. So, yeah, I think the Eagles run away with this division this year.
I actually would bet that I would actually take the Cowboys at +175. So I'm going to forget it on the Eagles.
You hated the Eagles the year they made the Super Bowl.
I was against them last year. It's tough, man, with the Eagles, right? This team gave up on them. There was reports that Jalen Hurts, who by all means seems to be a very coachable, quarterback who listens to the coach and follows the scheme. Apparently, he was going to the huddle and be like, "No, fuck this play." Like the team is calling off the coach's plays.
That's awesome. Terrible, but that's hilarious.
Sirianni was in charge, and it's the same coach. Vibes were bad last year. I don't see where they got significantly better outside of adding Saquon Barkley. The defense isn't much better. They didn't really address cornerback at all, which was a huge weakness for them. I mean, actually, they did add a white kid. What's his face?
The dude from Iowa.
Yeah, but he's a white cornerback. Come on, man.
But he's nasty.
He's a white cornerback. He ain't good. But I like what Dallas is going on. I think they won the division last year. They didn't get significantly weaker outside of losing their running back. I think they'll be fine. I think a lot of it's just people hating on Dak. But plus 175. I mean, I got to jump on that. That's a nice juice on that.
So you are so far off with they didn't address the defense. They drafted the number 1 corner. Let me get his name. Give me 1 second.
They drafted 2 cornerbacks.
Yeah, they drafted 2 of them last year. In the draft this year, I don't know why I
can't. They drafted Cooper DeJean. I remember that.
Yeah, Cooper DeJean is number 1, and then, or at least first, and then let me get the other corner who was rated as the number 1 corner at their position, Quinyon Mitchell.
Okay,
corner out of Toledo. He was the number 1 corner.
I forgot about this Toledo kid. So
yeah, so they did address the defense. Yeah. They went back-to-back corners.
I'm still going Cowboys on vibes.
Fair enough.
All right, here's a good one. This is a fun one. Bet it or forget it. This is from FanDuel exclusive. Kansas City Chiefs to win more games than the Raiders and Broncos combined. So I think it means if it's a push, you lose. So you need them to win more games than the way it's worded is more games.
Say that again. What were the teams?
The Raiders and Broncos combined. So what do you think the Chiefs would win? I think their over-under is 11.5. So let's say you say they're going to win 12 games.
Yeah.
So you need basically the Raiders and Broncos to win less than 12 games combined.
I'm forgetting that.
I think I'm forgetting that one too.
I can see something stupid happening with like the Broncos winning 7 games, 8 games, and then being like, what the hell? Where did they get these 8 games from at the end of the season? Like not like making the playoffs, but like, in the hunt the whole season. Something weird.
The Raiders and Chiefs play each other. All those teams play each other twice.
So there's wins. There's 3.
It's possible like you split those games just because Denver is a hard place to play. I don't care how bad you are. It's hard to play in Denver. And Kansas City historically, at least last year, it really struggled with the Raiders, especially
on the road too.
So I could see the Raiders and Broncos both getting 1 game there and taking a win away from the Chiefs.
Yeah. Let's stay. I'm out on that one.
That one too.
Number 13, maybe, but 12.
We also don't know what's up with Rashid Rice at this point. Like, is he
Yeah,
gonna get
that, that
suspended?
whole
I
situation
don't
is very
know.
strange. They keep it on the hush hush when it's involved. That
Here's one that I found that I like. Another bet it or forget it. I have two more, and then we
okay.
can hit closing takes. Bet it or forget it, D. The 49ers to score at least one touchdown in every regular season game at minus 165.
Bet that.
Bet that. That's what I'm thinking. That seems like cash money.
Yeah, a reason being is what was Christian McCaffrey's streak? I don't know if he broke it, but like
Oh my
wasn't it like
god,
30 straight games with a touchdown?
something
It was
insane.
something stupid. And like that's with him playing in Carolina too. Like it was before he got to San Francisco. It just carried over. So like, yeah, I don't think that they win a game 9-7. I don't think that happened. Or they lose 3-27. I don't think that happens. I think their offense is good enough, even if they have issues that, especially with Christian McCaffrey out there, to score at least one touchdown per year. Yeah. I mean, per game for the year.
Yeah, they got good weapons. Their coach is very
Smart,
smart. I was looking for like just creative,
innovative. That's the word.
creative. I just can't see this team finishing an NFL game without scoring a single touchdown. That includes
Shut out.
I think that includes defensive touchdowns too. So like you can get a pick
Oh, yes. Yeah.
or,
Yeah,
or
we're going with that.
something. I think that's how it was worded. It said one touchdown every game. So there's a lot of ways to get out, like to get on that one. Minus 165 doesn't sound bad. So basically,
Yeah.
you'd have to bet like $165 to win 100. I mean, I wouldn't put the whole 165, but like throw down 50 to win. I don't know, like 30.
Not a bad bet.
No, I like that one. All right, last one. Most bet it or forget it, D. The most regular season receiving yards by a rookie. Marvin Harrison Jr. at plus 150. Are you taking that bet to be the leading rookie receiver as far as receiving yards? Or are you forgetting that? It includes running backs too. It's just like the most receiving yards by a rookie. Marvin Harrison Jr. at plus 150. Bet it or forget it.
Forget it.
I can't make a case for anyone else though. Like I know that it could happen. Like I think the one thing that could really throw you off is injury with Marvin Harrison Jr. If he gets injured, you're not going to, he misses 5 weeks, whatever. He's not going to have the most receiving yards by a rookie. But who else is there? Roma Doomsday? It's like
he has 3 players. Rome's not there, just because he's got DJ.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it wouldn't be Rome, although he's going to be great. The 3 that I think will compete, and this is just again following the game. I got Xavier Worthy. I got, if they can figure out what to do, Malik Neighbors. He's really
I don't trust Daniel Jones there though.
I don't, but I think they'll put somebody else there that will get him the ball. I think Daniel Jones may lose his job week 2. And a lot of people are going to forget this guy, but Keon Coleman, he's the number 1 in Buffalo. And I think Josh, with no longer having Stephon Diggs or I always forget the other wide receiver that was with Buffalo.
Gabe Davis.
Thank you. He's no longer there either. Like it's legit just Keon Coleman and a couple of tight ends. So just pure volume wise, I could see him having like the 980 yards receiving with like 3 touchdowns, and then like Marvin Harrison being, sat a couple of games because of he might tweak an ankle.
So like the only thing holding us back with Marvin Harrison though is injury.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
He plays the whole season. You think he would have the most receiving yards?
Yeah.
But then here's the thing, like I almost would be tempted to take that bet with Marvin Harrison Jr. because if we're saying the only thing holding him back is injury, what's to say the other guys that are competing with him don't also miss 2 or 3 games?
Because I think the Cardinals need to get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. to be effective this year. These guys can just go out there and play. It's not going to be like the offense is to get the ball to Roma Dunze. The offense is to get the ball to Xavier Worthy. But he plays for the Chiefs and could just go off for 200 in a game because he's got Tyreek Hill speed, and then go 50-50 and then another 150 yards. Like he doesn't have to be the guy every single game. I think when Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be, I would say, the key target, you get nicked up. We've seen a lot of number 1 wide receivers that are high draft picks not make it through the full season because of they're the number 1 target, and then they get dinged up a couple times.
Were there any bets that you, because that was my last one for bet it forget, were there any things that caught your fancy that you want to throw out there?
Nothing that comes to mind. The only one that I had been thinking of prior to us doing this was the Kyler Murray one, but I didn't really have a second or backup after that.
Oh, I did have one actually. I think I didn't write it down, but it was basically NFC East. I was just curious, would you bet it or forget it? Any of those top 3 teams? I think they're all about between plus 170 and plus 230. I'll get the exact numbers in a moment, but like I personally would forget it. I just don't feel confident in picking any one of those 3 teams. I would lean.
You didn't give me the reason for picking them. You just said picking, but you didn't tell me picking.
Would you pick any of, like, if you saw NFC East or AFC East, sorry, excuse me, so the Patriots, that division. So between the Dolphins, I'm having a tough time trying to look up at the same time.
Just the way you said that, yeah, the AFC East between the Patriots and everybody else in that division.
Yeah, between I'm thinking about the
Bills, Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Jets.
Yeah, so between the Jets, Dolphins, and the Bills, would you feel comfortable picking any of those teams to put money on?
Oh, just to put money on for anything?
One of those? No, to win that division. Like, if
to win? No, it's too up in the air. That's a very flip floppy division. Where legit 3 teams could win it.
That's what I'm saying. For me,
but not in like everybody's so dominant. Like any 3 teams. I'm saying they're so inconsistent. Any team could win it.
Right now, it's Bills plus 165, Jets plus 170, Dolphins plus 220. So I agree with that. The Bills should probably be favored, but it's so hard to just pick one of those 3 teams to put money on and feel confident about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, D. Good show. Lots of betting, lots of football. I feel like you left so much on the table, but we'll come back next week, do some fantasy, and I'm sure we'll talk more about these players and some teams in the future.
So this is the problem when we get to football season is we can literally ramble on for hours and we have to cut the show short because there's too much information for us to go over. So it's a good problem to have.
I was going to say, yeah, it's not a terrible problem to have. All right, let's hit up closing takes.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
Closing takes, the last chance for us to throw a little something into the fire before we get out of here. I will lead us off today. D is just a conversation we had back and forth earlier. You know that meme of the guys, like a preacher guy with the black guy with the white beard, just like, it's too damn high. You know what I'm talking about? You don't know the meme? It's like something is too goddamn high. Well, the price of NFL Sunday ticket is too goddamn high. Damn, man, they are charging $650 now to get the NFL Sunday ticket without Red Zone. You want Red Zone? $750. That's why me and D like that Stream East life and not paying for that nonsense.
RIP to Stream East. They are actually closed down. They got seized by the SEC or whatever the FDIC, whoever it is that takes down websites. They got taken down, but not on air. I got you off air.
All right, got me off air because I'm not paying that $650. The thing is, dude, it's 1 day a week, and games start at 1 p.m. local. Mm-hmm. Dude, I have a kid. I can barely watch the games. So I am paying $600-$700 to watch football. They need to look at what the NBA is doing. I get 82 games, all time zones, no commercials. I get in-arena entertainment for $140 a year. Beautiful. I'll pay that. Like I don't mind paying that. I know you have some ways of watching that for free too, but I'm just saying I don't mind paying the $140. The Sunday ticket at $700 is absurd.
That is unreal. NFL is just money hungry, but they can be, because there are dummies out there that will pay the $650 and then $750 for everything included. Yes, so they're a cash cow. They're striking while the iron's hot. It's been hot for the last 15 years.
Yeah, hook your boy up with that new website where you can watch the games.
I got you, big dog. I got you.
What you got for me?
Flipping it around town. We haven't talked about it in a very, very long time, but switching it up to the dub and giving credit where credit is due. I don't know if you've watched this, but have you seen Caitlin Clark and her numbers post the Olympics?
Yeah, man, they are like on the tier right now.
Just I think back-to-back games. Go ahead.
10 straight games with over 10 assists or something, like 8 straight games over 10 assists, something like that.
It's not that many, but her last 2 games that she has now made this team be a playoff contending team overnight, although only 8 teams make it, but for her to still have the 7th seed right now, back-to-back wins, game against Phoenix, 29, 10, and 5, 29 points, 10 assists, 5 boards, and then a game against Seattle, a big win, 23, 9, and 5. Like, she's going off and like hitting the shots that go, oh, damn, she was doing this in college. So it's like a lot of people are like, maybe she just needed that break. Maybe she didn't need to go to the Olympics so that she could, I don't know, rest. She went from, back-to-back Final Four appearances to national championship appearance to getting drafted 2 weeks later, then playing in an WNBA game a week after that, to then people saying try out for the Olympics. And then for the past 2.5 weeks, she's been able to be like, relax and rest. And lo and behold, she comes out of the gate firing. So kudos to her. And they just might do something strange and get this team into the playoffs. And you already know that there's going to be eyes watching, the Indiana Fever if Caitlin Clark gets into the playoffs.
Well, I don't think it was just her that needed the rest. I think that whole team needed the rest because I don't know if we talked about it on air between you and me, but there was some wacky scheduling going on where
their schedule was awful at the beginning of the season.
They had them play like 10 games in 18 days or something like that to start the season because they wanted to get her on TV as much as possible at the gate. So they were exhausted, man. They're getting some good rest now. They're seeing teams prepared. Caitlin's got a whole half season under her belt. Like this team, it's crazy because we talk about this Fever team is like the worst team in the WNBA, and they've looked really good recently.
For 2 years, they were the worst team in the WNBA. So yeah, credit where credit's due. I said 2 weeks. No, she had a month off. So like that's a long time to be able to just gain some chemistry with your team. Just like kind of get into chill mode. Be like, all right, I already know how the league is running. Now I can try to get back to my game. So big shouts to her for playing incredible since the break.
It's crazy that I don't really see it talked about that much on media anymore, like at the ESPNs, because they want to talk about the nonsense to start the season, but when it's actually like really good basketball, they're like, not that interesting.
We also know that it's football season. There's nothing that's going to take over airtime more than like you could just click on SportsCenter during a Little League World Series baseball game, and the side ticker is fantasy football. That's just where we are right now.
Honestly, we're only contributing more.
Very true.
Good show. Lots of football in our future, man. Just going to be a big football show. Hey, we're at episode 97. So
97, bro. 97.
2 more to 100. That's exciting as hell.
Well, 3 more. 98, 99, and then 100.
Oh, yeah. Counting is difficult, man.
Not the easiest.
Not the easiest. All right, D. Get us out of here. Tell people what they got to do.
Yes, sir. All the time. We appreciate you guys being here with us on a Tuesday night, and more importantly, on a Wednesday morning. While you're trying to drive to work, you can upload or find us on, obviously, all of our platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, that's Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or formerly known as the X, whichever way you want to call it. Website's at the bottom, frizzandthegrizz.com. Please, please, please make sure, be a friend, say something nice. You never know how far it could go. Also, pay attention to next week's show. We're going to be talking about some fantasy football, and your boy has won multiple leagues, multiple years because of this show. You want insights, you want breakouts, you want people that you can find as gems? Listen to us next week, and we'll hook your boys up with that ADP. Every time we getting up out of here, though, we say, please make sure y'all take care of y'all mentals. It's the end of the summer, but you can still take care of y'all physicals. Take care of y'all chicken. Take care of y'all children, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound.
I got a new one for you.
That's when it just clicked in my mind that if you just run through somebody's face, a lot of people ain't gonna be able to take that over and 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 over again. They just not gonna want that.
Think there's a deeper metaphor there?
Run through a motherfucker face.